ready?
Yeah.
So, okay, so since you say you added this, whenever you mouse over these, you'll see that little red icon. So that's how you delete a page.
When you mouse over it, what happens?
There's this little red dot.
Up there on the top right.
That's your delete. Now that happens on a page you're not currently viewing. So this is the home. Oh, you shouldn't see it on the home. You shouldn't be able to delete the page you're on. I'm actually supposed to show it. My experience has been that it doesn't show up. But pretty much that's the easiest way to delete a page that's here. You just hit that little red dot. It's a red minus. It's a red circle with a minus.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of hard to tell. But in the menu, this menu is what you're going to use the most. Now, so when you add a page, it automatically gets added to the top. However, if you wish to hide it, the rest of your page management will be done under Manage Pages. So if I go there, you'll see these are all the pages that currently exist for this site.
Uh-huh. I've done this. The test page 2, I think that's hidden right now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So pretty much hiding it, hide it from the top navigation.
Yeah.
That does not mean you cannot reach it. So let's say you let's say you have 10 pages. You only want 5 to be shown, but on one page you want links to, let's say, the other 5.
Okay.
Those links will still work because this URL for any of these pages, this category will show you the URL for that page. So currently we're viewing the home page. So that's the URL for the home page. So hiding the page does not mean that you cannot access the page. It just means it's hidden from this menu.
So I guess my next question is, how would you delete it completely? Test page 2, I think, is something you could delete.
How would you delete it?
Yeah.
You can do that little red dot, or you can come in here, and on the bottom there's the delete. Both ways will work.
Okay.
So delete is completely gone. Hidden just means hide it from the menu. But that means the page is still fully functional. You can link to it, you can type in the URL and view it normally.
Makes sense.
Now, there was a bullet here about how to change types. And that's what this is.
What are the difference between
I'll break these down for you. So a portlet page is like the default type of page of the portal, where then you go in, let me go back to the page. So the default type of page is a portlet page, meaning you can add this option, add applications. Everything here is a portlet. So any of these type of portlets, you can just add to the page, which are the little boxes. If you think of these as content boxes. So the most common thing you'll add will be, I don't think you see this category at all. Content management. So the most common thing you'll add will be a web content display.
Okay.
And that's for just adding traditional type of web content. So if you just want to add a paragraph, that's your guy. If you want to add I know Pearl mentioned she wants to add rotating images.
Yes.
So
she has a lot of images that she wants, that she wants to be a part of the EDD site.
Right. Think of the web content display. Use that anytime you're going to use web code. So now to make the rotating images, you're going to need some JavaScript and probably some style sheet code. I think you have an existing site, right?
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that?
No.
I know she had sort of a WordPress site before.
Okay.
I don't know if that has the rotating images already, but if that already exists, you can just open that page, just grab the web code, and just just throw it in this web content display. It should work as is.
Now, the page that we see right now, I guess, is the home page. Does that start off as a web content display?
Well, it's a portlet page. So that allows you to use the tools in the portal. So there's like an image gallery, there's a document library. So these things you can just drop onto the page and build it. But from what I've seen from the EDD site, I think most of the stuff you'll be using will be this portal. Meaning you're just going to start adding your content, whether it's paragraphs, images, like your basic content. You'll be using this guy. So I'm going to hit add. Well, actually, here, let me show you one thing first. Hopefully I'm not jumping around too much. So, pages have a layout.
I've seen that.
So you can change the layout on the fly. You can change it to any one of these. The one with the dot is what's currently selected. So when you're dropping something onto the page, if you don't remember what category it is, but you know what it's called, you can start typing it in, and it'll just start showing you everything. As you use this more and more, you'll realize what type of items you'll need. It's just quicker to start typing in. So let's say I want to display. You can just click add, where it'll just drop it near the first thing on the page. Or let's say you wanted it down here. You see the cross? So when you click add, it just drops it on the page. When you have that cross, you can literally just drag it on and drop it where you want it. See how it highlights yellow? So it's showing you the layout. There's a thin left column and a fat right column. So then the yellow means it's going to drop it in that section. So you can drag and drop or just click the add.
And you can drag it above or below that too.
Yeah, see that jumps down, or it'll stay up there and this will get added up below it. So each of these boxes is what we call a portlet.
Okay.
Now, these things are portlets, but they don't look like it because we've turned off the borders. So that's one way to make a page look like just a normal page.
Okay. You'll show me more of that, right?
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, so we don't want all these boxes showing up on the page. There's this little tool icon, and that's look and feel.
Okay.
So you go in here, and pretty much you just want to turn off the borders. If this is checked, you want to uncheck that as well.
What use would that be for? A custom title.
This title is this box.
Web content display.
Yeah. So currently, by default, it's web content display. So if you're showing the boxes and you want to have your unique name in there.
Okay, that's the title. Okay.
See, as soon as I turn that on, web content display.
But if there's no borders, there would be no need for a title.
Yeah, that won't even show.
I see.
So this is a new title. So as soon as you hit save, you close this, and there it is, new title. This thing, it can seem complicated sometimes because there's a lot of options you can select. But one of the nice things about it is that it does have shortcuts, like this. If you ever want to rename this title, you don't even have to go in there. You can just click in that space, and it becomes editable. So usually title bars will have that shortcut ability. These title bars and the page names. So even up here, you can just click on it. Oh, when you've selected it. Okay, maybe wrong. Let's just move into it. Maybe that was in another version we had. Sorry, maybe I'm wrong about
that. That's okay. That's okay. But that you could probably double click that web content display.
And this one? Yeah, this is just a single click.
Yeah. But that, I get what you're saying.
No, okay. Yeah, so you can just click and change it.
Would you have to go to the menu to rename test page 3?
Yeah, you'll have to go to the manage pages.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so anytime you want to change it, think of it as your page properties.
Uh-huh.
The type of page, the name of the page, the URL of the page. Those are all properties of that one web page. You want to go to manage pages.
I see, that's where you rename test page 3.
Okay. Now, just to cover all of these, so I just showed you what a portlet page is. A panel page. What was a panel page? I think it just had sections, but we haven't really seen a real benefit to doing a panel page. The most useful that we've seen have been if you click link to a page, it adds the new it's kind of like a miswording. You create a page, but the minute you say it's a link to a page, it becomes just a link. It's not a physical page holding content. You're just giving it a URL to go somewhere. So you would use this if you're gonna link to a page that's not part of the portal.
Okay.
You know, if you want to have a link up here to say castrali.edu, then you would pick link to a page, and that'll actually, these are very similar. You could do URL, so link it to URL is mostly for external. Let's say this is the EDD portal site. Let's say another college has another doctorate program. Maybe you want to link to theirs, then you would link to their page.
Okay.
That would be the difference.
What happens if you just change it right now?
Well, since it's your test page 3, so if I changed it, and let's say you had a lot of portlets, those would be dropped depending on what I would change.
So it just changes, it undoes everything that we've done?
Yeah, it just resets the page.
Okay.
However, I do, like you have the portlet, so let's say...
I think it's okay if you want to play with test page 3. We don't have anything on there yet.
Yeah, so let's say I change it to web content.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to save that.
I see that JavaScript right there.
Yeah.
Is that where you would add the coding for the rotating pictures?
You can add it here, or you can add it on the you can add it within the web content display portlet.
Okay.
You can do it in both spots.
Okay.
How familiar are you with web design, HTML, making web pages in general?
Very little.
Very
unfamiliar. Yeah,
Okay.
Not too much.
But
I understand the HTML coding. I understand the syntax, and I can't tell you what UL stands for right now, but I understand that coding like that with
do you understand the basic structure as far as the HTML tag, the body tag, and the head tag?
No, off the top of my head, I can't tell you what it means, but I've seen that before, and I understand the purposes of it. But the abbreviations, I can't tell you what they are. But when it comes to stuff like that, I kind of look it up.
Where's the simple web page? Where's the simple web page?
I think some of your pages have some, and talking about in the portal, have some HTML coding in there.
They do. I just, let's go to the student web page. This should be a pretty straightforward page. So, any type of web page is pretty much broken down into 3 primary areas. There's your HTML opening tag. Like your whole web page needs to be in these tags. At the end, it should end with that. But the 2 main sections are your body. So that's the end of the body. If we go all the way up, here's the beginning of the body, and then there's this head section. So this header section is generally reserved for things that you don't want displayed on a page. but it's code that's either controlling a visual look, or you'll usually see here styles or JavaScript in this head section. When you see JavaScript that's up there, sometimes you'll find a website, it'll give you a script, and it'll say, have this preload on the page. You would put that in the heading section, which means this runs first before it starts generating the body. So when we look at the portal, that's why there is this separate JavaScript section here. So if you want anything like preloaded, that should be not in the body, but like behind the scenes in the head, you would throw it in here.
So that's the coding for this.
Yeah.
How do you call
that's
it?
what this section is. And then there's this look and feel. Currently we're looking at this tab. There's look and feel for this page, test page 3. And in here, we're in web content.
Now, in the HTML coding, this is a question, maybe calling upon these JavaScript, is that just standardized? Is that something that we need to know? Or is that just standard HTML calling in JavaScript?
I'm guessing you won't know how to write JavaScript. So, but there's a lot of sites with useful scripts. Like let's say you want to do the rotating images. If you search the web, there's a lot of sites that will show you samples of what they can do, and they'll usually give you the code. They'll say just copy paste this code onto your site.
Okay.
So just take their straight code, and you can copy paste it into one of those boxes. It should work.
Okay.
Usually there's quick tweaks that you need to do when you're dealing with a slideshow. It's just you just gotta change the image names, because those scripts will come with like a dummy name, image 1, image 2.
Yeah.
So your images might be event 1, event 2. So you just gotta make sure those will be your edits that you make.
Now maybe this is probably just coming from me who doesn't know HTML. But where are these images? Where do we save them? Is this coming?
Yeah, I'll get to that. There is a spot where you'll need to upload the images so that they're on this server.
Okay.
Images will be handled separately from the pages. You can't just add the image to the page. You have to upload it to the server.
Yeah,
and then in the part of the page where you want it to show, you're going to enter
and then you call
the image tag,
refer to it.
That
yeah,
image.
yeah. Okay. It's been a while, but I programmed a little bit back in the days.
I'm going to go back to the home. To this look and feel. So here on look and feel, the portal comes with some themes. You're always welcome to pick a theme, but it's going to change the look of all your pages. So I believe Pearl already has, and Lotus, they have their preset design for the site. I believe.
Is that in there? Is that one of these themes?
No. So the way it currently looks, that's not a theme. So if you change the theme, you're going to end up changing what the pages look like, and it'll change everything. So be careful with the themes, but if you ever need just to add CSS code, you go to look and feel, and then there's the CSS tab. And we already have some in here. This CSS is what's adding this guy up here. Now, I hope I don't confuse you with this part. Notice how there's two look and feel and 2 page tabs?
Yes.
So whenever you click one of these individual pages, the controls for the page are here. So this is the home, and these are the controls for the home. This will affect everything. So everything in the site. So if you ever want to add a CSS for every single page, you would use look and feel here. And you'll see there's a CSS tab. Notice how the pages went away? That's because this is going to affect everything. So since this was for EDD graduate program, doctorate, I should say doctorate, we added this code to apply this banner
Uh-huh.
up here,
Uh-huh.
and what that did was it copied it to every other pages.
Oh, that's
So when you look at the CSS for each individual page, you're gonna see it.
no confusion. That makes total
Right.
sense.
So if you ever need to do a unique thing for one page,
Uh-huh.
you do it in that right-hand section, and you use the top for kind of a universal application. Now, I'll explain this real quick, but so as you add pages, they start getting added here. You can always add a page through here as well.
Uh-huh.
But depending on where this button is and what you're viewing, currently we're on home. If I do this add page, it's going to add a page under home. So it becomes like a sub-page of home. We need to be at the root. So no page listed. So once you're at the root, if you add a page here, then it gets added at equal level of these. But if you ever think this is confusing, the best thing to do is just go back, get out of manage pages, and the easiest way to add is through this menu, add a page.
Now, quick question: what's the fastest way to get to that page that we were just on again?
The manage?
Yeah,
It's
that's
always through that menu.
It's always on
It's
manage
the
page.
only way actually.
That seems like a very powerful page.
Yeah.
Sounds like a very useful.
That's you'll be using that a lot initially. Once your site is set up, once you have all your pages, you'll be mainly working on the individual pages. Because that's just for your structure. It's useless for content. You know, you actually have to go to each page to do the content.
Okay, so let me see.
Now,
yeah, how would I get test page 3 to appear on the
left?
The left.
Okay. Let me quickly tell you this. I changed test page 3 to a web content.
No.
Remember there was the box here? That was a portlet.
Uh-huh.
No longer here because now it's no longer a portlet page. So that's what I was trying to tell you. When you change, your content will get affected. Now, oh, that's right.
So what is the purpose of a web content?
A web content
what would be there?
page is you just have the one content. So if it was a portlet page, you could put 3 web content portlets. By making the whole page web content, you just have the one. You know, it's not a portlet now. It's just their page is web content.
So how do we edit this web content?
So that's what I'll show you.
I'm sorry, if I'm asking
No,
stuff.
that's fine. I mean, I'm here to answer the question. I'm trying to think easy ways to explain it, but there's a lot of sections to cover, and the thing is, there's no one way to do something.
I understand. I definitely understand. There's probably no one way to do this. I mean, especially when it's not sequential at all.
Let me go back here real quick.
So like I said, when I ask you these questions, don't feel a need to respond to it. Just say, I'll get to it later.
No, I want to answer.
Yeah, I know, but just say, I'll get to it a little bit later, and I'm okay. Don't feel like you're, yeah.
Okay, so we added these, right? These are both web content display. Let me just get rid of this one. Let me show you these other things real quick. So look and feel is just going to control the look of this. The main things you'll probably use is the border and the title if you actually have the box showing. The other nice things is you can do like a background color on it. And it's got these tools to edit. You can change the hue, pick your color, and See, it's already applied.
I see.
So there's border styles if you want to make it thicker, thinner, make them, let's say, no border on the right. So there's all these appearance things. So you can just play with these. Margin and padding will probably be this one and if you leave borders on, this is probably the one you'll probably want to use the most. Margins and paddings controls the space between portlets and between your content and the edge of the line.
Real fast, if you don't mind, can you toggle off the edit control so I can see what that web content display looks like for the users in the menu?
Oh, this?
Yeah. Just what would that look like as?
Oh, there's no content in it yet.
Also, when there's no content,
it doesn't show. It won't show. See, this one disappeared too.
I see.
Let's add something. I was gonna do it down here, but I'll do it up here. So, it's web content display. So you can select an existing web content, or you can create. That's what these two things are. So the gear is usually selecting something. This little plus paper with a plus sign, that's always the create. You'll see that constantly. Pencil means you're editing, plus sign means you're creating. There's always these little tooltips to tell you what you're doing. So let's actually add something. So this is, let's say, let's call it dummy. This is our dummy content, right? So this unique name won't show up anywhere. It's just a labeling for you, and I'll show you why you do want to make this a little meaningful. So I'll call it dummy for dummy data. So this is dummy content. Now I'm just gonna do that. So. Now, as you're editing stuff, there's 3 options. If you're working on something that is going to take a long time, this thing does have a timeout feature. So if there's no activity for a while, it will time out and automatically log you out. So if you're editing content and let's say you stop, or you're gonna stop, like let's say you need a bathroom break or someone distracts you, you need to talk to someone on the phone or something, do save and continue. That means it'll save any edits you have, but it keeps you on this page. So it'll refresh, it's been saved, so now you're still in this edit mode. So that's what save and continue does. It saves your work, but it leaves you here. Save and approve means I'm all done, save it, content is approved, make it live. So if I do this, it's on that portlet I added to the page. It's still empty. It's still invisible. If I turn off those toggle controls, because this content hasn't been approved yet.
Okay.
So once it's approved, then it becomes public view. Available for public view.
Now, I understand. I think Dr. Chen said that that's GUI. And there's HTML coding that appears below it too. This is dummy content, and that text, this is dummy content. So what I type in there, will that just show up as this is dummy content?
Right, the web page will have this content.
Okay.
Here, let me show you. So I'm going to save and approve now. Saving again will take you out of this. Saving will take you out, but it's not approved, meaning it's still not available for public view. Save continue keeps you here. Save and approve means I'm all done. Make it viewable to the public. So I'm going to do save and approve. So now this will appear to anyone who visits the page.
Can we see?
So let me turn off all controls. So that's how it currently looks to anyone who visits.
Okay.
If I had changed this name, it would have the new name.
And what
you can still do, by the way. that's how it looks for regular user. So the minute I hit that approve, this became viewable.
In editing the borders, can I shrink it? Or you see how it's so wide. Can I pull it wider to the right, or wide? Yeah, or wide, or
yeah. This will be the width of your
the width. There you go.
the column of the layout.
Oh, okay.
So this layout is this thin column and this white one.
The two content one.
Remember how this one was taking up the whole width? It does that by default.
Okay.
You should be able to edit that in the look and feel.
Will this adjust?
I think that's borders. No, this is the thickness of it. Let's do double 5 so you see. Tell me when you're back. See how I changed it? Do you know the difference between these two?
Padding and margin?
Yeah.
Maybe you give me another example.
So, I'll tell you. So padding is the space between the border and your content.
Uh-huh.
So think of the cushioning inside the box.
Yeah.
Your margin is the space outside. So if I made this 100 pixels, it added 100 pixels all the way around. So that's why the box got smaller.
Okay, that's something I could play with.
Yeah, you'll play with it a lot.
Okay.
But that's the difference between the two. So if I make that 10, you want to see this gap?
Uh-huh.
Let's make that 50.
I see.
Here's the gap.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. I forgot, these borders are separate from that box. And if you ever just want to get rid of it, just delete the value.
Okay.
No, just delete these values. And I'm going to put everything back to normal. Now, advanced styling.
So is that a CSS within the content?
You'll need to learn a little bit of CSS. Let's say 50%. Yeah, you're gonna have to become a little familiar with CSS. Do you know any CSS?
No. Sorry, probably makes it very difficult for you to explain.
It's not a quickie. Did that save? Request proceeded successfully. Didn't really change that. Let me look into this. Normally we're not changing the width of these boxes.
I'm not so sure.
They're always 100% by default.
I'm sure that's not an important thing for some reason. Yeah.
I'm guessing you're probably gonna turn off the borders anyway.
Uh-huh.
But if you ever need to, just send me a quick email and I'll figure it out. Every time you drop something, it always has a unique ID.
Uh-huh.
Whenever something starts with a pound sign, it means that's like the ID value of it.
Uh-huh.
So when you have these ID values, you can do CSS to that specific object and nothing else. So that's what I was trying here. I was trying to change the width of just this one box, nothing else.
Oh,
But I'll play with that later. I'll tell you how later. So let me just. And yeah, anytime you make changes, you always see this green box up top. It'll tell you if it'll be a red box if there was an error, green if it succeeded successfully. So that was look and feel. Configuration. You'll rarely ever, I don't think you'll touch this much. However, when it comes to web content, so once you create a web content, it's stored in the memory of the system. And it has a database backend. So every content you make will get saved. So let's say you have an event that happens annually. So you can create it as a content. It'll get saved here. Once the event passes, let's say that portlet, you change it to some other event. So the next year, when that first event returns, you can just come back to configuration and pick that previous event, and it'll change the content to what you previously posted. So think of it like versioning. So this dummy I added is now on the list. Let's say I pick something else. Once it refreshes, it means it's now applying. See that area thing? So now this is displaying this specific content that was created in the past.
This was in the edit page? In
This
the pencil?
was in configuration.
Configuration?
Yeah, so pretty much select web content. And the reason I wanted to show you this was, if we go to control panel, again, I'm pretty sure web content is what you'll be doing the most. Just because it lets you break up the site into different portions. So let's say you have like a news category, make that a content. Let's say you have maybe information on a scholarship or something. You know, like each different subject, instead of just having different paragraphs or different headings, maybe make different content. That way you can reuse those items if they if they become current again.
No, I think you're right about that. I envision, from what Dr. Chen has explained to me, envisioning it being just a series of boxes or information, broken down by topic.
So here I'm in the control panel. This is the control panel. So you have web content here. As soon as you click that, you have access to all the web content. So by me, let me go back to the page. So by me clicking a content here, I'm literally changing what's appearing on the page. You know, I just changed it back to dummy. So I just changed the content of the page. People are visiting the site. You know, that's the expectation. You're going to have visitors. So you don't want to be looking at your different content on an actual web page. You know what I mean? Or editing on an actual web page. You want to just change it when it's ready. So this will let you display it on the page, but when you want to edit your content, create new content, you can go to the control panel and go here. So this will let you can add new content, or you can edit any of the existing ones.
So add web content is creating a content such as dummy or AERA?
Right, it's creating that placeholder of content.
Okay. You showed me that, right?
I showed you.
Is that how dummy was created?
Well, no, I made dummy on the page. I hit that add, add icon.
But you can also do it through there?
Yeah, so I made it through here. You do have that option. You can drop the portlet and just quickly make your content. Again, it'll be invisible until you approve it. But the better thing to do is to go to the control panel and manage your content here. Now, if you edit something that's currently visible on a page As soon as you save those edits, that web page gets updated with the edits.
I don't need to approve it.
Yes.
You would have to save and approve it.
Yeah. So let me go into dummy here. So when I'm in control panel, I click dummy. So here on the right, we do have the option of doing versioning. So let's say this is currently what's on the page. Let's say you wanted to make a modification, but it wasn't. You needed to wait for approval, but you want to have it ready. You can. You can tell it my edit will be a new version, and then you can make your edits. And then just save it. You can do save and continue or just save, but just save and continue so it stays here. Notice here, now there's version 1.1, not approved. Meaning if I go back to version 1, the original, that will show approved. So the latest version that's approved is what's currently being viewed by a person. Whatever is not approved is not for public view. Get comfortable with that. I think that'll be the most helpful piece as far as content. The other nice thing about the web content is you can schedule something.
Just to expire, yeah, Bill was talking about that. Say, for example, if something, you have a scholarship and it expires tonight.
Right. Yeah, so let's say you make it today. You don't want it to even appear until Monday of next week. You can set the start date for the Monday, and let's say you want it up for 2 weeks, you set an expiration date for 2 weeks.
And then expiration date means that it'll disappear on that date?
As soon as it hits that date, that date and time that you specify, it goes invisible pretty much. It's still on the page, but it becomes invisible.
So when stuff goes invisible, would that blue table or would that move up?
If there's anything under it, yes.
It just moves on up
to
okay.
Yeah. So from the control panel, this is what you're gonna find the most useful. The other thing you'll use from the control panel will be the image gallery.
Okay.
So image gallery, you can make folders to group all your images. So you can make new folders, add folders.
What type of files can it take?
You can do the JPG, JPEG, GIF, GIF format, or PNG.
Only those three?
Well, those are the three standards for the web.
Okay.
If you do other formats, depending on what a person has, computer, and even web browser, it may or may not work for them.
Okay.
Those three formats are the universal supported ones.
What are digital cameras JPEGs generally?
Yes.
Okay.
Digital cameras do what's called like a RAW format. Usually when you export them, they give you a JPEG.
Okay.
That's what they do.
Yeah, okay.
So you should be fine.
Okay. So for example, I'm sorry, can I ask? If she wanted to rotate, say, graduation, should I create a folder called graduation and upload the photos to graduation?
Yeah.
Okay, and then my JavaScript that rotates the pictures, I would call. Is this where I'm saving the images or uploading the images?
Yeah, here you would upload the images.
Uh-huh.
There's currently one here. Which is that banner. It always gives you a thumbnail. So it looks so small because it was that banner that's up here. Oh, by the way, when you go into the control panel, it takes the default look of your portal. So don't worry about that it doesn't say the EDD up here. Now, when you upload the images, since you're recording this, I'll show you this. You wanna go into the edit properties of the image, and that's gonna give you the URL of the image. this program provides you with 2 different URLs. Both will work.
Okay.
It gives you both. IE is kind of picky when you click on boxes. It just says, do I want to allow access to this information? I just told it yes.
One more time, what'd you say?
That pop-up,
Uh-huh.
it was saying, do I want to allow access to what's in this box?
Uh-huh.
It was asking me, I said yes, because I want to select it.
Okay.
But I always use this URL. This is a special kind of URL for a special type of service that the server offers.
Uh-huh.
This is the universal thing guaranteed to work all the time, so always just go with the first URL.
Okay.
So that's the URL for the image. So if you ever want to add it to a web page, that's the URL you want to get for it.
Okay. So in the HTML coding, you would, basically command it to display this above and the above and the header or whatever.
Yeah. So if I copy this, go back to the page. I'm gonna edit this. So now I want to add an image. See, I pick the image icon, it wants the URL of the image.
Uh-huh.
And do OK, and there's your images added. So that's the one tricky thing when it comes to images. First you need to upload it, then you got to grab the URL for it, so you can add it to your content.
Now maybe just a step back. Where was this in the control panel?
Control panel has your image gallery.
Okay.
So, manage pages. You go there to manage your structure, site structure.
Uh-huh.
Control panel. Go there to manage your web content and your images in the image gallery. And other than that, to edit your page, actually be on the page.
Okay.
So you can drop more content or move your content around.
Okay. Is there? We still have, I still have a few more minutes, but is there something else that you wanted to explain to me that can relate to this, or can I just take the next few minutes to maybe clarify?
Yeah, I think that's, I kind of told you a lot.
Yeah.
I think this is enough just to get you going.